Hey, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Shirley TV. Glad to see you. Glad you could be here. Glad you could join me. So, just want to come on here this morning and talk a little bit about the Sean Diddy Combs arrest. So, Sean Diddy Combs, so all the channels are reporting. So, I said, why not? So, Sean Diddy Combs, and yes, he went to not to get on this topic yet, but yeah, he went to Howard University. So that's not too far from where I live. Howard University, yes. So what is next for Sean Diddy Combs and what comes after the indictment? So glad to see you, glad you could be here. Welcome to Shirley TV. So just to get up to date on a little current events on a serious note. So what happens after the indictment? So Sean Diddy Combs arrested New York City. In New York City, uh, he was staying in a hotel room in New York City. So he kind of knew that this arrest was coming. So I want to get into what happens after the indictment. So when a person is arrested, what happens next? And then I want to get into the empire that he built over the years. Okay. Facing an indictment can be one of the most challenging moments in a person's life, marking the beginning of a formal legal process that can lead to a trial. So, in other words, what is an indictment? An indictment is a formal charge or accusation of a serious crime. It represents the formal decision by a grand jury that there is enough evidence to charge someone with a felony offense, indicating that the case should proceed to trial. So I want to give you a breakdown. So in other words, his case went to the grand jury because they felt that, well, they didn't feel, but I guess they knew that there was enough evidence to uh, hand down an indictment. So that comes from the grand jury. So the grand jury process. Formation of a grand jury typically consisting of 16 to 23 citizens. So the grand jury is 16 to 23 citizens, but then I think they have the petite jury, because I know I did serve on jury duty before. So the grand jury is more citizens. So it says the formation of the grand jury, 16 to 23 citizens, they convene to review evidence presented by the prosecutor. So all the evidence was presented by the prosecutor, and they sent the evidence to the grand jury, and then they handed down the indictment. Once they looked at all the evidence, once the grand jury looked at all the evidence, they said they would see if there's enough evidence to, hand down an indictment. So evidence review, unlike a trial, jury, a grand jury doesn't determine guilt or innocence. So the grand jury doesn't determine So it doesn't determine guilt or innocence. Instead, it reviews evidence. So the grand jury just reviews the evidence. They don't determine the innocent or guilt. So because they say, unlike the trial, a grand jury doesn't determine guilt or innocence. Instead, it reviews evidence and witness testimonies to decide whether there is a probable cause to believe a crime has been committed and that the accused is responsible. Yeah, so the witnesses, and they just they listen to the witnesses and they look at the evidence. So that comes from the prosecution's office, and then it goes to the grand jury, and the grand jury will hear those witnesses' testimonies, look at the evidence, and see if there's enough evidence or enough, probable cause to hand down an indictment. The proceedings are confidential, designed to protect the accused's reputation in case the jury decides not to indict, and to encourage witnesses to speak freely. Decision. If the grand jury finds sufficient evidence, it issues an indictment. If not, it can return a no bill, effectively dismissing the case. So this case can be dismissed. So Sean Diddy Combs arrested in New York City. So this case can, we just have to see how it turns out. You're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, which in a court of law, you are getting your due process. So we all have that right, to get our due process in a court of law. So let me see where I'm at now. Right, the secrecy is secret. It's a secrecy, but I mean, it comes out in the news. I mean, but we are not able to hear the evidence or see the evidence, but we just got the word that, so when anyone is arrested, so, we all, so then, and then it, come to think of it, these are the steps that we all should be looking at, because you never know, but so this information is good to know. It's good to know. It's good to know what goes on in the arrest process. Not that you want to get arrested, but, just it's good to know. They always say ignorance of the law is inexcusable. So decision. So secrecy, the proceedings are confidential. Then we have the decision. If the grand jury finds sufficient evidence, it issues an indictment. If not, it can return a no bill, effectively dismissing the case. So in other words, if the grand jury finds sufficient evidence, which they already think that they have sufficient evidence, so it came from the prosecutors. They send it to the grand jury, then the grand jury looks at the evidence and listens to the witnesses. So they did hand down an indictment. Significance of an indictment. So after that, it says formal accusation. It formally brings charges against the accused, moving the legal process for investigation to prosecution. So now they're trying to build the case, legal rights. The indictment informs the accused of the charges, allowing them to prepare a defense, right? Trial preparation. Following an indictment, the case proceeds towards trial, with both sides preparing their arguments. So trial preparation. So like I said, formal accusation. Then you go to the legal rights, trial preparation. So get prepared for trial. What happens after an indictment? So after the indictment, then we have the initial appearance and arraignment. After an indictment, the first step is the initial appearance, followed by an arraignment. During the initial appearance, the defendant is formally advised of the charges against them and their rights. The arraignment is where the defendant will enter a plea guilty, not guilty, or no contest. It is crucial to have legal representation at this stage to protect your rights and navigate the complexities of your plea options. So in other words, they handed down the indictment, and now he will have his initial appearance and arraignment, where he will be able to go in and Well, he'll be there where he would be able to, uh, give his plea, guilty, not guilty, or no contest. I think they said, yeah, no contest. So it's crucial, definitely. So 9 times out of 10, he does have his legal counsel available, whether it's one lawyer, two, or it's a whole team. Uh, and then they will come to the bail and pretrial release. So will he make bail or will he make bond? So I don't know if bond, but they say bail following the arraignment. Right. So in other words, he already made his plea. He will be, if he want to be guilty. I mean, if he want to plead guilty, innocent, or he wants no contest. So following the arraignment, the court will consider bail or pretrial release conditions. Bail is intended to ensure the defendant's appearance at future court dates. Right. So if they set bail, they want to hold that bail amount of money, I guess. So they would ensure that he would come back to his next court appearance. Some people skip bail. Some people skip, but it wouldn't be wise to do that. Bail is intended to ensure the defendant's appearance at future court dates, right? The conditions of bail or release are determined based on the severity of the crime, the evidence against the defendant, and the defendant's past criminal record and community ties. So we know Sean Diddy Combs built a huge empire, but nowadays when it doesn't make a difference what type of empire you have built, so even me, you, any of us, you can build how many empires you want, but when it comes to the law, we have to obey the law. The law don't care how much money you have. Believe that. The law does not care how much money you have, how many empires you built. When you commit a crime, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. So when you are driving down the street and you run a red light, you run a stop sign, when the cop stops you, they don't care how many millions you have in the bank or how many empires you built or how many of this, how many of that, how much what is your net worth. No, you ran that red light. You ran that stop sign. You disobeyed the law. That doesn't have anything to do with your criminal act. So let me proceed on for real. So yeah, so you speeding, you going 100 miles an hour, you're going to, if the cop sees you and stops you, hey, yeah, because we saw in the news just recently with Justin Timberlake. Was it Justin Timberlake? Yeah, he was given I think it was DUI. Yeah, because I saw that said he was given a DUI. Like I said, they don't care. It doesn't make a difference how much money you have. If I'm flying down the road 100 miles an hour in a 30 miles an hour zone, I can have $1 million in my bank account. That doesn't make any difference. That doesn't make any difference. So a lot of times people think, they always say, well, yeah, they got a lot of money, they can get them out. Nah, doesn't mean you have a lot of money, you can pay for a good lawyer, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, but you hope, so money doesn't have anything to do with it. It depends on, I guess it depends on, in other words, is what you can prove. But what I always would, learn is what you can prove in the courtroom. What can you prove? Because if you have a lot of evidence stacked against you, then, that could be bad. So I stopped at okay, we have bail and pretrial release. In other words, they want to probably see they will see if he can make bail. Following the arraignment, the court will consider bail or pretrial release conditions. So it depends on the court, I guess, once they get in the courtroom and discuss bail. Because some people can't get bail because they might be a flight risk or something of that nature, I guess I would say. So then we have the discovery process. The discovery process, I guess that's the time when they building the case, all the evidence, gathering all the evidence. The discovery process follows where the defense and prosecution exchange information relevant to the case, right? So they're exchanging information relevant to the case. This includes witness lists, evidence, and any other materials that would be used at trial. This is a law firm. Yeah, I think this is a law firm where I get this information from. It said this includes it includes witnesses, witness list, evidence, and any other materials. And it said they're saying that their role is to thoroughly review this material, looking for inconsistencies or evidence that can support the person's defense. So in the discovery process, uh, both sides, the defense and the prosecution, will exchange information that's relevant to the case. So, like I said, evidence that's relevant to the case. So, what if there's not enough evidence that the prosecution and the defense attorneys, the prosecution's attorney, and the defense attorney or attorneys, could be plural, could be a whole team, but whatever the right evidence is not admitted into the discovery process to help you get cleared. So we don't know how things are going to go. Sometimes somebody's having a bad day, the judge could be having a bad day. Once you get in there and it's time to make a decision. I mean, I don't know I guess if you have a jury trial, the jury will be making a decision, guilty or innocent. But if you have a judge trial, the judge would be making that decision. But so what I'm saying, what if there is not? I mean, what if there's not enough or the right evidence? Not don't have to be a whole lot, but what if the right evidence is not presented? So say in the discovery process, the discovery process follows where the defense and the prosecution exchange information. So they're exchanging information. So in other words, prosecution is like, show me what you have that's relevant to this case. And the defense attorney, I'm going to show you what I have that's relevant to the case. So then you come up with the pretrial motions. Before the trial, various pretrial motions can be filed by either party. These motions can request the court to rule on certain legal issues, exclude evidence, as I was saying. I learned the term. I don't know if this is relevant to this case, to this type of, on a pretrial motion. Well, there's a couple other terms I learned when I was down Strayer University, because I did take a business law course. It says these motions can request the court to rule on certain legal issues, exclude evidence, or even dismiss charges under certain circumstances. Strategic use of pretrial motions can significantly impact the outcome of a case. And also, it's a couple of terms. I know one was, I think it was an exclusionary rule, and another one was, well, actually three, fruit of the poisonous tree. And another thing that can be done is evidence, suppressing evidence. So if evidence was illegally obtained and is detrimental to the defendant's case, the lawyer can try to get certain evidence suppressed, taken out, because fruit of the poisonous tree. If say for instance the police or investigators or somebody they didn't produce evidence that was obtained illegally, so it can be suppressed. They can put a motion in to suppress evidence and see, how things turn out. Trial preparation. So coming down to trial preparation. Preparing for trial involves developing a comprehensive defense strategy, including gathering evidence, preparing witnesses, and planning the defense's presentation. Our experienced team of Candace Fields Law, this is a law company, it's called Candace Fields Law. They work meticulously to build a strong case on behalf of their clients. Then you're coming up after the defendant and his lawyers, the defendant's lawyers, begin to prepare for trial. Trial preparation. Then they come down to the trial. If the case proceeds to trial, so in other words, this case of Sean Diddy Combs, we don't know if it is even going to make it to trial. So they said if the case proceeds to trial, both sides can present their case to judge or jury. Like I said, you can have a judge trial or jury trial where the judge decides whether a person is guilty or innocent, no contest, or you have the jury trial, guilty, innocent, no contest. So a lot of people say they'd rather be judged by judged by 12. Oh no, the jury. I don't know how many in the jury, but that would be the grand jury. I think the grand jury was 16. But like, the old saying, I'd rather be judged by a jury than something else. But so I stopped at the trial. Okay, if the case proceeds to trial, so we have to see how things go. That is with any. Sean Diddy Combs, this person, that person, anybody. So if there's enough evidence that points more toward the guilt of a person, then 9 times out of 10, it will make it to trial. It says if the case proceeds to trial, both sides can present their case to the judge or jury. The prosecution must prove the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You're right. Right, because it's always on the prosecution. Prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt. That's in criminal law. And then we have civil law is the preponderance of the evidence lies within the plaintiff. So beyond a reasonable doubt in criminal law. So it says the trial process includes opening statements, witness testimony, cross-examinations, and closing arguments. So you're sitting in the courtroom, you'll be looking at the opening statements of the defendant's attorney and then the prosecution. So the defense attorney and the prosecution's attorney. So you listen to the opening statements, and then you're listening at the witnesses' testimony. So we don't know what witnesses they're going to call. So 9 times out of 10, they'll call the witnesses that are relevant to the case. Against Mr. Sean Diddy Combs or anyone else. So this information that I'm reading right here, this applies to anyone. We all should know the whole arrest process. We should know the arrest process. So it's very important to know it because you have family members. You can help. You can help a family member, and it's all about information. Is always good to have on any topic, any subject. So information. So what happens after the indictment? So that's what I typed in. So you want to know the grand jury process. You want to know about that. You want to know the significance of an indictment. What happens after an indictment? What's next? The initial appearance and arraignment. So learn that about that. Then you want to talk about the bail and pretrial release. Then the discovery process. Discovery process is important because if you have to go to trial or go to court, you definitely want to know what type of evidence do they have against me? What are they going to be presenting at trial? against me, I want to know. I want to see this information. So your lawyer, is definitely have to have. In certain cases, I think it would be good to have a whole team of lawyers if you can afford it. But sometimes you can't afford it. You have to have a pro bono lawyer, or those lawyers that's working for the government. And sometimes you're scared to trust them because you're like they're working for the government, but I don't know if they work for the government, but I guess they working. Somebody gonna have to pay them. Somebody gonna pay them. I mean, they say pro bono, but somebody's paying them. So I stopped at see, I think that was it. Let me see. Oh no, sentencing. Oh, I think sentencing was the last one. Let's see. No, hold on. Oh, the trial. So in other words, trial preparation was one. Then we come up with the trial. It says, right, I stopped at the trial. The trial process includes opening statements, witnesses, testimony, cross-examinations, and closing arguments. So we had the opening arguments when they first went in the courtroom. So the prosecution's attorney and the defendant's attorney, they had their opening statements. And then at the end, they have their closing statements. So there's their opening statements and their closing statements. They want to try to persuade the jury, or say, hey, the defendant was, in other words, the defendant's attorney, in other words, he's giving his opening statement. He's trying to persuade the jury that his client is innocent. Then you got on the prosecution's side, the prosecution's attorney, they're trying to do the opposite. Oh, he's guilty. We want to show you that he's guilty because blah, 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 blah. So they're going to be going against each other in the opening statement and in the closing statement. So I would like to let me see if I can find an example of an opening statement and a closing statement. Matter of fact, that would be good. We have the sentencing. If the defendant is found guilty, the case moves to sentencing. The judge will determine the appropriate punishment based on the severity of the crime, the defendant's criminal history, and other factors. Right, so the judge will determine the appropriate punishment. So in other words, once the defendant is found guilty by the jury or even a judge, depending on if it's a judge trial or a jury trial. So once the defendant is found guilty, the case moves to sentencing. The judge will determine the appropriate punishment based on the severity of the crime, the defendant's criminal history. So they're looking at all that and other factors. Sentencing can range from fines and community service to imprisonment. Then the defendant has a right to an appeal. So the appeal process. After sentencing, the defendant can appeal the conviction or sentence. Appeals can be based on claims of legal error, violation of constitutional rights, or procedural issues that affected the trial's fairness. So I was reading on this case. I got to look more into that case too. I like to get into cases too. It was 3 gentlemen from the United States, and it was more. I got to read more on that, but I think it was Congo. I think it was South Africa. So they went over there to South Africa, and now they are facing a firing squad. And I'm like, but this is such a heartbreaking case. And these are young gentlemen, 3, and I think it's 3 gentlemen, they said were from the United States of America. But it was some other people too that were involved. So they went over to Congo in South Africa. And let me see if I can find that. I can read more on it right here. They went over to South Africa, and a friend of his, one of the gentlemen, invited them over, I think to do some type of security work or something. So when they went over there, this is what happened. So, I want to read more about their case too. So they said they could be facing the death penalty, and a firing squad. And I'm like, but they are going to appeal. So their lawyers said that they will be appealing. So I'm like, you traveling, so that's why you have to be careful. All of us has to be careful as United States citizens traveling. So they travel abroad, South Africa, and so they travel to South Africa and looking to just make some money doing some type of security work. Uh, so they would, want to do some security work, and then what happened was they said, trumped up charges, bogus charges for United States citizens. I don't know. We'll find out. But I do want to do some more research on that. And I'm like, just imagine you traveling and you trying to have a good time, or you going out the country, you going abroad just to have, just to make some money, just to enjoy life and enjoy being with your friends. And then next thing you know, you faced with a firing squad penalty or punishment, I would say. And so I want to see if I can find that. Matter of fact, uh, let me see if I can find it. I want to see if I can find it. Okay, yeah, I found it. It says how 3 Americans ended up in the middle of a co-op attempt in Congo, and they face. So how Americans ended up in the middle of a co-op attempt. I don't even know what a co-op attempt is. So co-op attempt in Congo, and they facing the firing squad. It says U.S. citizens. I'm not gonna call the names out, but U.S. citizens. A military court in Congo. A military court in Congo, one of Africa's largest countries, has convicted 3 Americans and dozens of others of taking part in a co-op attempt and imposed the harshest penalty. The harshest penalty, we know what that is. The court convicted the 37 defendants, including the 3 Americans, and imposed in a verdict delivered by presiding Judge Marge. So it says, an open air military court proceeding. The defendants, a majority of them Congolese, but also including a Briton, a Belgian, and a Canadian. So somebody from Canada, somebody from Belgium, somebody from Britain, British, I guess, they say Briton, Briton. It says they were charged with terrorism, criminal association, and illegal possession of weapons, among other charges. Just imagine you're traveling out the country. So they were in the country of Congo. So it says a majority of them were Congolese citizens. So some of them were Congolese citizens. So it was 3 United States citizens, but it was some Congolese citizens as well. So they're accused of criminal association, illegal possession of weapons, and among other charges. So now they're facing the firing squad, but their lawyers have expressed that they will appeal. I said the lawyer who defended the 6 foreigners said they would appeal the verdicts. So in other words, they're foreigners. To them, they're foreigners. So when you travel out of the country, you traveling abroad, you're traveling out of the country, you're considered a foreigner. So a lot of times we don't really think like that, but we have to realize that we are foreigners when we travel. We're traveling into other cultures. Those are other cultures that do things differently than we do things. Their court systems are set up different. Their laws are different. So it's scary to me. So that's why I don't do too much traveling. You know, nope. If I do, it's going to be train or bus. So I mean, going out the country, even if you go to other states, some of their laws are different too. We have some states in the United States they are open carry states, and some states are not. Just thinking, you live in a state that doesn't have an open carry law, but you're traveling to a state that does, and then you seeing that is, that's like a culture within itself right there. That's part of their culture. Is an open carry state. That's a culture they created. So everybody walking around, and then don't tick nobody off. Don't tick nobody off. You can't go over there and you go over there. Over here in certain states. In the United States of America, sometimes we go to the grocery store, you go to a carry out, and you get mad because the people don't. The waitress didn't fix your food right, or didn't, do this or didn't do that, or your order didn't come out, you over there arguing, but you go over there in one of them open carry states, and then, arguing something simple as that can, put you in jeopardy. So it's all about the culture. It said the defendants, a majority of them Congolese, so the Congolese citizens, so they're over there in South Africa, and the Congo, I think the country of Congo, that's what they call it. But also including they have a Britain person, a Belgian, and a Canadian. They were all charged with terrorism, murder, criminal association, and illegal possession of weapons, among other charges. So now, and the defendants' attorneys said they will definitely appeal. But it said the lawyers who defended the 6 foreigners, I said they would appeal. The U.S. State Department, which strongly discourages travel to the Democratic Republic of Congo. So when you go to the U.S. State Department website, it's good to go on that website before you travel. So I know my son, he just landed yesterday from Miami, Florida. So I was glad that, he landed safely back in, he was still in the U.S. anyway, but I still always keep up, when they go out of town or when they traveling, so I just hope that they don't ever go out of the country. And if you do, look at the United States State Department's website. It says the U.S. A lot of times people don't, a lot of times, me too, and not just them, anybody, but me. Sometimes I don't look and do enough research as I should. But it says, go to the United States Department, United States State Department. So it said the U.S. State Department, right? United States State Department. Go to their website. That way you can see. And even when COVID was available, when COVID was here, you go on this website you go to. I think you go to CDC for that, Center for Disease Control, and you found out about COVID, the COVID situation, the state of the country. Even when you're traveling abroad, you have to, they had their COVID restrictions as well. But go to the United States State Department, go to their website, and then when before you travel, you can find out what's going on. Because I think there was a time when they said, "Hey, don't travel to Mexico." And a lot of times when you're traveling and then you're already there, and then whatever the travel advisory, what was that happen to come out? You happen to hear it after you are already there, but you didn't check before you left. It says the U.S. State Department, which strongly discourages travel to the Democratic Republic Republic of Congo, because I mean, that's in South Africa, but because I'm leery of traveling to these places out of the country anyway, because monkeypox is, that we have polio. I mean, polio has been eradicated over some years ago, but then the monkeypox, they said that was in Africa, but then it came over to the United States. I heard, them talk about it being over here too as well, but we don't hear about it too much now. It says so in other words, the State Department, they declared, don't travel to Congo. It has not declared the Americans wrongfully. They have not declared the Americans wrongfully detained. So in other words, they are not saying right now that they are being wrongfully detained. So they have to do some more investigation. Some more investigations. Because we don't know if they contributed or not, so I don't have that evidence. So in other words, the State Department is saying that they don't have the evidence. They're saying that they are not saying, they don't know right now whether or not that they are wrong, they have been wrongfully detained. They don't know. So that's what it's saying. It says the State Department, they discouraging against the travel to Congo, because there's a lot of unrest going on over there, a lot of violence and everything going on over there. A lot of times when you go out of the country, you just taking a big risk. So they haven't declared, they haven't said that the Americans were wrongfully detained, making it unlikely that U.S. officials would try to negotiate their return. So if they don't negotiate their return, if they don't negotiate their return, then hey, that's the bad thing right there. Okay, let me see. It says, here's how the three Americans ended up in the middle of a co-op, I guess, co-op attempt. The co-op attempt in May in Congo's capital, Kinshasa, a ragtag group including three Americans tried to unseat the country's president. They were led by a little-known opposition figure who sold used cars and dabbed in the gold mining before persuading his Utah-born son to join in the four-year co-op. So in other words, they went to South Africa, and this allegedly they took part in this co-op, because it says in Congo's capital, it says a ragtag group included three Americans. So these three Americans are being detained. They're being held. I guess they're being held until, they appeal. So their lawyers said they will be appealing. So they're trying to say that they were led by a little-known opposition. So in other words, they tried to unseat the country's president. So I guess they're saying allegedly that they tried to unseat the country's president. And so they met up with somebody that I assume they knew this guy. I think one of them went to school with one of them or something. He was selling used cars over there. But sometimes you can't trust people, even if you've been knowing somebody for a while. Even if you went to school with them sometimes, especially if you hadn't seen them in a long time, and then people do things over the years that you might not have known what they have been doing. That's why people always be like, when you run into somebody that you know, hey, what you been up to? What you doing? What did you do after high school? What you do? I mean, sometimes you don't want to get too nosy, but you want to know, hey, what you been up to lately? Hey, how's it going? How's the family? So that's what they do in Africa. They're very, family oriented. Hey, how's the family? But we do that over here a lot of times too in the United States. So it says they met up with this guy that sold, in other words, these three Americans met up with a guy that sold used cars, and he dabbed in gold mining. And then he was dabbing in gold mining, and he persuaded, the guy, they said was They said the guy persuaded his son to join as well. So that's what it said. Who? It says the guy. It says they were led by a little-known opposition figure, and he sold used cars. He dabbled in gold. He dabbled in gold mining, and then he persuaded his son to join in the foil co-op. And it says the co-op attempt began at the Kinshasa residence. So in other words, the co-op attempt began at the Kinshasa residence. And then it says, wow, it's something. And it says, meanwhile, it says Malanga, whoever that is, meanwhile, was live streaming video from the palace in which he is seen surrounded by several armed men in military uniforms wandering around in the middle of the night. He was later, and while resisting arrest, Congolese authorities said. So it seems to me that, they have it all here, it's all in the article here, so it's public to read. But you can read it, you just type it in. So you type it in, and it says, so in other words, they were trying to, allegedly, they were trying to unseat the president. And so, you can read up on it, read up on it if you feel like you want to. So in other words, that's what the co-op was. They were trying to unseat the president of I guess it's South Africa. It says, we'll say Congolese authorities said. So I guess it was in the country of Congolese. They were trying to unseat the president. So these three Americans, and then they had some other Congolese citizens that were also involved. They say dozens, including these gentlemen, dozens, including these three American citizens, and three American citizens, dozens, including these three American citizens. They were arrested and brought to a high-security military prison in Kinshasa. Family members said the young men had been sleeping on the floor, struggling with health issues. What else stop at? Or sleeping on the floor, struggling with health issues, and they have had to pay for food and hygiene products. So in other words, they had these three Americans. They allegedly were involved in this co-op in the country of Congolese in South Africa. So allegedly they were involved, three young Americans and some other citizens of Congolese, some other Congolese citizens. So now they have been arrested, detained, and they were arrested, detained, and brought to a high-security military prison. Family members said they're sleeping on the floor and struggling with health issues and have had to pay for food and hygiene products. Just imagine they got to pay for the food and hygiene products wherever they don't have no money. They don't have a lot. Maybe their family will send them some money. Sleeping on the floor, struggling with health issues. Just imagine. They show the pictures where they all gathered around. They all laying on the floor, and they just so in close proximity, getting no air. They're getting no air, So they get no air, and they're now they're faced with health problems. They got to pay for their food and their hygiene products. And it says dozens, including, in other words, dozens, Congolese citizens, some Congolese citizens, and three American citizens. And they say they are facing the firing squad and some other, other harsh punishments. So that's something. But see, then when I think about just think about the arrest process over there in that country. It would be different than in the arrest process in the United States of America. So the process that they had to go through, sometimes in certain countries, you don't even get to go to court. They just throw you right in jail. I don't know, but I'm just saying, you never know. They're saying that hopefully it's not like that. But it says, Christian Malanga, the unlikely co-op leader. So they had a co-op leader, and sometimes you can't follow people. So it seems to me that it was this gentleman. They said he was a co-op leader, and they followed him and ended up, he was a car salesman, but they felt that they could trust him. Sometimes you can't trust people. I don't care if I've known you for 20, 30 years, if you're not speaking my language. So you have to realize that people have different values. People's value systems are different, or morals and ethics. Where this person might do something this way, or they may do this, I might not do that because I'm like, nah, you can't tell me to do this. You can't ask me to do that because that's against my value system. My morals and my ethics, my good morals and positive ethics and my value system, my high value system, doesn't allow me to do that what you do. So, you go ahead on and I'm good, So it says this gentleman who was born in Kinshasa, had described himself as a refugee who thrived after settling in the U.S. with his family in the 1990s. He said he became a leader of a Congolese opposition political party and met high-level officials in Washington and the Vatican. He also described himself as a devoted husband and father of 8. But he still, looked like he still ended up in trouble. Court records and interviews paint another picture. So that's what I'm saying. He's saying that he had, he said he thrived after he settled in the United States. He said he became a leader of a Congolese opposition political party. And he met with officials in Washington and the Vatican. He said he also described himself as a devoted husband and father of 8, but they're saying court records and interviews paints another picture. It says the year he turned 18, he was convicted of an assault with a firearm, which resulted in a 30-day jail sentence and 3 years of probation. But sometimes we follow the wrong people, and it definitely has a lot to do with who we have around us. We had the wrong people around us influencing us to go the wrong way. But it's just giving some information on the gentleman that I guess entice the 3 Americans to join this co-op. So in other words, this gentleman was a Congolese citizen, and I guess he enticed the 3 Americans to join this co-op, to try to unseat the president of Congolese, of Congo. So Congolese citizens. And it says court records and interviews paint another picture of this gentleman, so he's saying one thing, I grew up, I did this, I did that, I had a good family life. And so in other words, he painted the picture of himself as a good person, but then they say the court records are saying something different. It says also, right, they're displaying all the crimes that he committed. It says the same year he was charged with domestic violence, assault in one incident, and battery and disturbing the peace in another. But he pleaded not guilty, and all counts in both cases were dismissed. So, right. It says in 2004 he was charged with domestic violence with threat of using a dangerous weapon, but he pleaded not guilty, and the charges were again dismissed. Since 2004, records show several cases related to a custody dispute and child dispute. It's a long article right here. It says how 3 young Americans got involved in a co-op attempt. So you can, look it up and read about it. When I saw this and I said they are facing the firing squad, I said, oh my God, this is another country. So just imagine you're a United States citizen, you go to we don't have no firing squad over here. So we don't have nothing like that. So they going, see what I'm saying about the culture when you are traveling to these different countries, just imagine when they said firing squad. When I read that, I'm like, wait a minute now. This the type of stuff that they still do. It says the 3 imprisoned Americans are. I'm not gonna get their names or nothing like that, but they do have the names over here. So when you read about it, they have the names and everything up here. Okay, so the 3 imprisoned Americans, they flew to Africa from Utah with a younger Malanga, that's his name, for what his family believed was a free vacation. So the 3 Americans, they flew with this gentleman named Malanga when they thought that this was a free vacation. Just say the family thought that it was a free vacation. Uh, they flew to Africa with a younger Malanga who what his family believed was a free vacation. And they reported to have, they said the gentleman that they flew with, he was reported to having, allegedly, he was reported to having a mining company. He had a mining company. So they must have, I guess to me, it seemed like he persuaded them to go over there. In other words, he said that he had a mining company. He worked selling used cars as well. So one of them sold used cars. But they saying the guy that they went over there with, he he went with him, or even they met him over there. So he had a mining company, and it says, yeah. So in other words, he probably told them that they were going to make a lot of money. Here, come on over here. I got this mining company. You can make some money, you know. So he was, in other words, he was a U.S. citizen as well. Said he was a U.S. So that was the guy that they went over there with. That they got involved with him in this, alleged co-op scheme. So he told the court his father had, and said he told the court that he was having trouble at home, So it says he told the court that his father and him had trouble, in the past. And then he talked about his mom, and then she said her son is innocent and was simply following his father, who considered himself president of a shadow government in exile. Thompson was his high school friend. So in other words, they went over there with the guy that was his high school friend. That's what I'm saying. He went to high school with somebody, but people change over the years, So they went over there. The 3 Americans went over there with him, and he was originally from the United States as well. But Thompson was his high school friend and football team. He was the only former teammate to accept Marcel's invitation to travel to Congo. Right, it says Thompson was a high school friend, and he accepted the gentleman named Malanga. They accepted his invitation to travel to Congo. According to several other players who told the Associated Press, they had been invited to what the younger Malanga pitched interchangeably as a family vacation or as a service trip to build wells. So he seemed like to me he was telling them all kinds of stuff. I mean, he had a mining company, then he wanted to build some wells, and somebody had a car dealership. And so that was, they're saying one of the gentlemen was his high school friend. So the Malanga gentleman, he was the one that gave them the invitation to come to Congo. I guess he told them that they were going to be making some money, and they went for the bait, So it said, according to several other players who told the Associated Press, they had been invited to what the younger Malanga pitched interchangeably as a family vacation. So he told them, well, come on, y'all, come over, or let's go over to Congo, and let's go over to the Congo country, the country of Congo in South Africa. Let's go over here. You're going to make some money. I have my own mining company, so y'all come on over here with me. And that's the story he pitched to them. So he was a young gentleman as well. So his name was Malanga. He pitched interchangeably as a family vacation. He pitched it as a family vacation to these 3 young Americans. It said other teammates alleged that Marcel Malanga had offered up to $100,000 to join him on a security job in Congo. So a security job, as I read, because I read that earlier. So allegedly, he offered them $100,000 uh, to work a security job in the country of Congo. So, and then they had other Congolese citizens that were also arrested as well. So, in other words, he offered them. So, just imagine. I mean, you can pay me no amount of money that's going to make me jump on a flight and go out the country on some promises that somebody said to me. But I mean, you never know. I wasn't there, so I don't know what was said. I'm just going by the article. But sometimes, when you're young, you kind of believe things quicker than you would as you are older. Because I'm from the old school, so you can't just pitch me anything or tell me anything, because I am not a believer. But sometimes when you're young, I know when I was younger, I might have believed, when they. So in other words, they told them, yeah, y'all gonna make $100,000 allegedly for this trip. Come on, we're going to, South Africa, the country of Congo. And then, you'll be running across some Congolese citizens as well. So it says Thompson's family maintains he had no knowledge of the, allegedly, Thompson's family maintains that he had no knowledge of the elder Malanga's intentions. So in other words, the gentleman, one of the gentlemen that went, he's saying that he had no knowledge, allegedly, of the gentleman that asked him to come over there, the gentleman, Malanga. So Malanga was a gentleman that said, hey, well, I'm going to pay y'all $100,000. Allegedly, I'll pay y'all $100,000. Come on over here. I have my own mining company. And also, I'll pay you $100,000. So I guess they went for it, and then, that's how the co-op started. So it says, so his family is saying that he had no knowledge of the gentleman's Malanga's intentions, no plans for political activism, and didn't even plan to enter Congo. So the gentleman, one of the United States citizens said this was a guy that he knew in high school. One of the United States citizens knew this guy from high school, but he said he didn't have no intention of even entering. That's what his family is saying. So one of these United States citizens that was arrested, so he's being held, until trial or the appeal or whatever. So his family is saying that, this United States citizen, he didn't have no intentions of entering Congo, and he had no plans for political activism. Yeah, he had no plans for political activism and didn't even plan to enter Congo. So now just imagine, you over there being held. It says he and the Malangas were meant to travel only to South Africa and Eswatini. His stepmother, that's what she said. Here's what happens next. All of those convicted have 5 days to appeal the verdict. So they're convicted, facing the firing squad, those 3 Americans. And then there's some other ones too. Some other ones that are involved are some Congolese citizens as well. And they have 5 days to appeal the verdict. So I think they already appealed. Their lawyers said they will appeal. The lawyer who defended the 6 foreigners said he plans to do so. So 6 foreigners altogether. I know they said 3 were United States citizens, but I don't know what the other ones from. Congo reinstated, see what I'm saying? Congo reinstated the certain type of penalty earlier this year, lifting a more than 2-decade-old moratorium as authorities struggle to curb violence and militant attacks in the country. The men convicted in the co-op attempt will probably be by firing squad. So just think about that. When I heard about this firing squad type situation, I'm like, wow, this is something. This is something. So I'm just hoping, praying for these young gentlemen, and hope that the United States government will get involved. And that is the end of the article. Wow, that was a long article. Wow. I was thinking about that when I was looking at TV yesterday, and I saw that Sean Diddy Combs had gotten arrested, and then once I heard that, then I immediately thought about the different the steps in the arrest process. The all the steps. You talk about the arraignment, starting from the. Oh, this is a different article right here. Let me see if I can go back. I didn't write nothing down. I know you have the arraignment, you have the indictment. Hold up, let me see if I can go back. This is something though. Yeah, okay, I went back. Okay, in other words, so when I think about those gentlemen, see, they are going to be facing a different culture. So the arrest process over there definitely will be different. So it's good to look up different countries, countries abroad, looking up different countries, different cities, countries abroad, to see what type of legal system they have, what does the arrest process consist of. But over here in the United States, it says what happens after the indictment. So uh, it tells you about the grand jury process, significance of an indictment, what happens after an indictment, your initial appearance, and your arraignment. See, after an indictment, the first step is the initial appearance followed by an arraignment. During the initial appearance, the defendant is formally advised of the charges. So in other words, your initial appearance, then you have with your initial appearance, then you have your arraignment, and then in other words, your initial appearance, the initial appearance, the defendant is formally advised of the charges. So the initial appearance, the defendant is advised of the charges. Then the arraignment is where the defendant will enter his plea, guilty, not guilty, or no contest. Then we have the bail and pretrial release. I'm not going to go back over the discovery process, pretrial motions, trial preparation, then the trial, then you got sentencing, the appeal process. So this thing about these gentlemen over there in the country of South Africa, not South Africa, well, South Africa would be the continent. Africa would be the continent, but the country of Congolese would be the country. But just think about the gentlemen and think about the process. Think about the arrest process. It definitely would be different from the United States. The culture is different. So when you immerse yourself in these different cultures, that's what part of your culture is. You doing things differently. You eating different foods, eating different foods, different religion, different ways of doing things. Definitely, you're working for an organization, you're working for one organization. The culture in this organization might be different from the culture in another organization. I talked about culture in one of my other videos. In other words, if you are working in an organization, an organization is like a group of people working together to achieve a particular goal. So you're working in an organization over here, and then somebody else working in an organization over there. But over here in this one organization, they doing a lot of bad things, a lot of unethical things. They're doing this and that unethical, but that's part of the culture. That is a culture that they create. They created a culture of, because in other words, if you're working in an organization or you own it or whatever, you own your own business, but you're doing things unethical. You don't have no high value system. Your morals and ethics are below standard, and you're doing this and you're doing that. That's wrong. It's unethical. But you keep letting it go on within the organization, and you don't make no changes. That is when you are creating a cultural environment within an organization that is unethical. But then you have another organization over there. You have one over here, but you have one over there that's doing the right thing. They're doing this and they're doing that. Everything is on point. Their value system is high. The employees are thriving, and this and everything is going on. Everything that goes on in their organization is positive. They're helping their people. They're adhering to their proper social, what you call it, social responsibility. So, and that is creating a good cultural environment within the organization. You're creating a learning environment. You want the employees to learn. You want to, help the customers learn. You want the customers to learn about your products and your services. There's so much to get into when it comes to business. I mean, I get in, I get to talking about marketing, advertising, promoting, branding, brands, a competitive advantage. You want to maintain a competitive advantage. Yeah, because you want to maintain a competitive advantage. Is you want the customers to come to you. You want them to keep coming back. So you're offering quality products and services, but I'm not going to get back into that. But I was just reading about this. Wow, I said there's something else, and I saw that case right there. I said, oh my God, I feel bad. And then when you think about your own family and you think about, they talk about a firing squad, I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst type of punishment in the world. So I just wish the best for those Americans and those other citizens. Well, they had some videos, so if you look it up, you can see the video. I don't know if it was a video, it was a picture, I guess they showed. Well, I don't know, it seemed like they had hundreds. It looked like they had hundreds of people. They had the three United States citizens, and then they had all the rest of the Congolese citizens and different, well, they said different foreigners, They all laying on the floor, and it's just so degrading. So you just have to be careful, when you're traveling to these different countries. So they said the United States State Department said don't travel to Congo. Do not go to Congo, which is in the continent of Africa. It's in Africa. Don't travel to Congo. So, the United States State Department. So always look at that before you travel. You want to go out the country. And I think you have to, I assume when you're going out the country, you have to get shots as well. Yeah, it keeps you healthy because you don't want to go out the country and catch anything. So let me go for one more thing I want to look at. Let's see if I can find anything about the empire that Sean Diddy Combs built. So what does he have in his empire? So it said he built a nice empire. I don't know if they can talk about it now, but sometimes this is Sean Diddy Combs arrested in Manhattan after grand jury indictment. And they say anything about his let me see if I can find out. They just all they talking about is the arrest. So I like to bring out some of the positive in people, nothing wrong with talking about a little positive. I want to know what type of empire he built. I know he did go to Howard University, so I know he went there. I know he had several businesses. Uh, several businesses, but it don't look like they're going. Let me see. Okay, it says Sean Diddy Combs is one of the wealthiest musical artists with an estimated net worth of United States dollars 1 billion by 2022. But it seems to me that these different lawsuits that came about uh, definitely diminished his wealth. So Diddy's net worth. So let me read this right here. Well, they got Diddy net worth now. They got a net worth now 600 million. So what is Diddy's net worth? Diddy is an American rapper, singer, record producer, entrepreneur, and designer who has a net worth of 600 million. Diddy has been one of the richest rappers for several decades, but despite what you may have read, he has never been a billionaire, or say he's never been a billionaire. Diddy first became a global superstar thanks to his record label, Bad Boy Entertainment. It says, as a music executive, he launched or shaped the careers of the numerous artists, Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, and Faith Evans, and produced tracks for Usher, Lil Kim, Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men, and TLC, among many others. Uh, in the late 90s, he released the first of multiple successful rap albums and won his first Grammy for Best Rap Album. Throughout the 90s and early 2000s, he continued to churn out albums and win awards. Though his tracks were popular on the radio and with fans, there were a number of hip-hop artists who criticized his continual use of samples and guest performers. While his music made headlines, his personal life also proved to be newsworthy, as he was involved in multiple altercations, including in a club, and dated a number of high-profile women, including Jennifer Lopez. Along the way, he also launched multiple successful clothing lines, 2 reality shows, a successful liquor brand, a media company, and a moderately successful acting career. In other words, a clothing line, 2 reality shows, a liquor company, and a moderate acting career. I don't think I've seen him on any acting. I don't know. I haven't seen any. It says in the last 2 decades, Diddy earned well over $1 billion from his sprawling business empire. His most successful business partnership was with the liquor company Diageo. With Diageo, Diddy helped popularize the vodka brand Ciroc and the tequila brand De Leon. Cohn's partnership with Diageo began in 2007 when he entered into an equal partnership with the conglomerate to market and promote Ciroc vodka. The partnership was a success, and Ciroc became one of the most popular vodka brands in the world. So in other words, Diddy was involved in this vodka brand, Ciroc vodka brand. So in 2013, Cole and Diageo co-purchased the De Leon tequila brand. So in other words, he was a smart businessman. According to a legal filing in 2023, the wake of a lawsuit filed by Diddy against Diageo between 2007 and 2023. Diageo paid Diddy $1 billion for his work with the company. Early life and career beginnings. Sean Combs was born 1969, November 1969. So he has a birthday coming up in a couple months. He spent his childhood in a housing project in Harlem. His father, Melvin Combs, was an associate certain people. Melvin was, or his father was, after his father was, the family moved to Mount Vernon, New York. The decision changed the trajectory of his life. In his old neighborhood, it was all too common for boys to drop out of school and join a gang. In his new neighborhood, he ended up graduating from the prestigious Mount St. Michael Academy. He then enrolled at Howard University in Washington, D.C. to study business. So as I said, he went to Howard University to study business. and graduated from prestigious Mount St. Michael Academy. So that's good. He went to Howard University. So I don't know if he finished Howard or not. I think he dropped out. I have to see. Let me read on. While a student at Howard University, Combs got an unpaid internship at Uptown Records in New York City. He got the job through rapper Heavy D, okay, who he knew from Mount Vernon. He rearranged his class schedule at Howard University so that he could commute to New York City via train a few days a week. For his internship and still attend class in Washington, D.C. So he was commuting from the campus of Howard University to New York City to keep up with his internship that he found out about through, or he got help through, get help from Heavy D. Thursday, it says, he commuted. So it said Diddy got up at 5 every Thursday and boarded a train. Just imagine getting up at 5 in the morning, every morning, and then boarded a train to New York so that he would be at work by 10. Well, it took him 5 hours to get there. He then traveled back to D.C. on Friday night to promote parties all weekend. By his sophomore year at Howard University, he realized he was more interested in his career goals than his education. He dropped out of Howard. Yes, what I heard. He dropped out of Howard and took a full-time position at Uptown Records. So just imagine, he still may be where he is today, but if he would have dropped out of Howard University, what if he had stayed at Howard and finished his degree, but probably took some courses. Sometimes you don't need a whole program. Sometimes you can take a few courses and you can still be so enlightened that you're ready to move forward. So in other words, he was so enthused about his internship in New York. That Heavy D helped him, be a part of. He was so enthused about that, so he dropped out of Howard University. Howard University is a pretty prestigious college. So so it says here he dropped out of Howard University and took a full-time position at Uptown Records. Within 2 years, he was vice president of Uptown Records. He was just 22 years old. Just imagine, 22, at 22, I was in college at that time, 22, yeah. But at 22, he dropped out of Howard University. By the time he was 22, he was vice president of Uptown Records. Just imagine, 22. That's a lot to learn at a young age. So that was a good opportunity to learn at a young age. So sometimes you start learning at a young age is good for you. While at Uptown Records, he helped develop artists such as Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. After being fired from Uptown in 1993, Combs established his own label, Bad Boy Entertainment. So, in other words, got in, worked at Uptown Records for a while. That's like I said, you learn the program, you learn how they did things, you learn the culture. He learned the culture within Uptown Records, and then he got fired. And down the road, he got fired. He eventually started his own label, Bad Boy Entertainment, as a joint venture with Arista Records. So that's good. You get nothing wrong with going and working for a company, and you take notes, you learn, and then you go start your own down the road. But at the time you may need that job, you may need that money. You have to eat, you have to pay bills. So when the time is right, so the time was right for him. So he worked at Uptown Records for a while, learned the culture within, learned how they did things, learned the people. And then when they fired him in 1993, then he went on and started his own record label, Bad Boy Records. It says 1991, Combs had a major career setback. He promoted a celebrity basketball game to raise money for AIDS. It was going to take place in the gym of the City College of New York. It has a number of popular artists which were slated to play. Uh, the event was way oversold. People with tickets were literally banging on the doors of the gymnasium to get in. There ended up being a stampede that had serious consequences, but no criminal charges were filed. So in other words, they had people stampeding, trying to get in, and people got hurt. So they could have had faced charges. So people could have faced charges. It says he was subsequently fired from Uptown Records. Yeah, he was fired from Uptown Records. In 1994, Sean Diddy Combs launched his own label, Bad Boy Records. In 1994, he launched his own label. 1994, launched his own label called Bad Boy Records. Yeah, so he launched his own record label. Soon thereafter, up and coming rapper, the Notorious, uh, defected from Uptown to Bad Boy. So in other words, Notorious B.I.D. He ended up joining the Bad Boy label. The Notorious B.I.G. and Craig Mack both released hit singles with Bad Boy, and Combs quickly signed other acts such as Carl Thomas, Faith Evans, Total, and Father MC. So I do remember Faith Evans and the group 112 and Total. They did put out a lot of nice songs. And then said he also formed an in-house production team known as the Hitmen, who worked with artists like Jodeci, Usher, Little Kim, TLC, Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men, and Aretha Franklin. During the Let me see, almost lost my. Okay, hold up now. Okay, hold up. I lost my spot where I was reading. Okay. I think I stopped right here. Okay. No, I don't think I stopped right here. Okay, yeah, no, I wasn't right there. Let me see. Okay, I passed that part. So my page flipped. Now I forgot where I was. Okay, I think I was right here. Right, Diddy used to get up at 5 in the morning, so he went to New York. He for his internship, like I said, then he was fired from Uptown Records, started his own label, Bad Boy Records. So let me see. I know I passed that. Okay, let me just start here. In addition to his successful career as a record exec and producer, uh, Combs recorded his first commercial work as a rapper in 1997. His debut single, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart and stayed on the chart for 28 weeks. He followed this up with his debut studio album, No Way Out. In July 2017, it was originally supposed to be titled Hell Up in Harlem, but he made several changes after the Notorious B.I.G. The album was a resounding success, earning Combs 5 Grammy nominations in 1998 and winning the Grammy Award for Best Rap Album. He has released 3 more albums: Forever, 1999, The Saga Continues, 2001, and Press Play, 2006. Diddy announced a new album for 2023 and has released 2 singles from it. Gotta Move On and In the Porsche. 2001, Combs changed his stage name from Puff Daddy to P. Diddy. So I always was wondering why he changed his name. Sometimes I don't know. I don't know why he changed his name, Puff Daddy to P. Diddy. And I think he calls himself Love now. I think so. I think that's what he would call himself. He announced another name change to just Diddy. London-based artist Richard Dearlove, who had been performing under the name Diddy since 1992, sought an injunction against Combs in the High Court of Justice in London in November 2025. In November '05, Dearlove accepted an out-of-court settlement of such and such amount of money and damages, costs, and Combs cannot use the name Diddy in the UK. So he can't use the name Diddy because he was sued for using Diddy after he changed from Puff Daddy to P Diddy, and he announced another name change to just Diddy. So he changed from Puff Daddy to P Diddy, then he changed to Diddy, which he was sued for using that name because somebody else had a trademark for that name. So he can't use that no more. So Diddy in the UK. So he remained known there as P Diddy. So he can't use Diddy. So these are his earnings. 2007, 28 million. 2008, 35 million. So just goes all the way down. But now they say it's 952 million versus it says 600 million on the start of the article. But now it's saying total 952 million. But sometimes things don't have to be accurate because when you spending money, you paying mortgages, buying houses and cars. You got to buy food. You have to have a medical plan, life insurance, and all that. So you have to pay employees and helping out family. Helping your family, giving them money, and you know starting businesses and different things. So your money will kind of fluctuate. Other projects and ventures, in addition to his music career, Combs has also enjoyed a successful acting career. He has appeared in films such as May 2001, A Raisin in the Sun. I think I did see that movie. I don't remember him in that. 2008, Get Him to the Greek. 2010, Draft Day. 2014, and The Defiant One. 2017. He was the executive producer of the reality TV show Making the Band. Yeah, I do remember Making the Band. I used to watch that too, Making the Band. They said he was the executive producer of the reality show Making the Band, which aired on MTV from 2002 to 2009, and also had a brief stint on his own in reality television with the 2008 VH1 series, I Wanted to Work for Diddy. Not me, but that's what the article saying. Combs was also a successful businessman, right? As we know, definitely. He started a clothing line, Sean John, right? I remember that. I do remember the Sean John clothing line, although I never purchased anything from, as I can remember. I don't remember purchasing anything from the Sean John line, but I did kind of look at some of the pieces, and they had a nice clothing. He had a nice clothing line. In 1998, which won the CFDA Award for Menswear Designer. Oh, he won the CFDA Award for Menswear Designer of the Year in 2004. He is also the head of Combs Enterprises, which is the umbrella company for his business portfolio. In addition to his clothing line, Combs helped develop the Ciroc vodka brand for 50% of the profits. In other words, the Ciroc vodka brand, so he was getting 50% of the profits for that. And then his Combs Enterprises and the music career. So there's nothing wrong with having 4 or 5 different incomes. So that's what it is. Nowadays, who wants to just rely on one source of income? I have a business over here. I have a clothing line over here. I have a vodka company over here. I have my furniture company over there. I have my real estate business over there. Then you have to hire so many people to work all these different companies. So that's good because to employ a lot of people would be beautiful. And then it says Combs helped develop the Ciroc vodka brand for 50% of the profits. he has a majority equity stake in Revolt TV, and he purchased a majority holding in beverage company in a beverage company called Aqua Hydrate in partnership with actor Mark Wahlberg. Okay, that's cool. And businessman Ronald Burkle. Mm-hmm. In 2019, Diddy became a major investor in Play VS, which provides infrastructure for competitive gaming in high schools throughout the United States. I need to get me something to drink. My mouth is dry. Okay, hold it. Hold up, y'all. So, just reading up on the empire because I wanted to go into the. So I had to go to the refrigerator to get me some smoothie. Mm-mm-mm. So yeah, so look, it says yeah, he also purchased a majority holding in a beverage company called Aqua Hydrate in partnership with Mark Wahlberg and businessman Ronald Burkle. That sounds like it's an aqua hydrate. I mean, I don't know if that's just water or they say beverage, a beverage company. So in 2019, Diddy became a major investor in Play VS, which provides infrastructure for competitive gaming in high schools throughout the United States. So he was involved in a lot of business ventures, a lot of businesses. And this is personal life, so I don't have to go into all that. But it just said he's the father of 7 children. Um, so I don't have to go into that. And he has had multiple. It said he has had multiple run-ins with the law. In '99, while out at Club New York in Manhattan with then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, disturbance broke out, and they were arrested. You know, Combs was arrested. Uh, so I think that's it. Oh no, that's not it. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, okay. In other words, he went out to a club with Jennifer Lopez, and a fight broke out. So him and Jennifer Lopez, they were arrested. So I mean, that was all out in the news. Hmm. And after that, so let me see. After that, yeah. After that, I mean, he ran into other problems. You know, I'm not gonna read all that because this is a long article. So, in other words, in the wake of all the allegations, November 28, 2023, Diddy announced, Sean Diddy, well, they call him Diddy, he announced he was stepping down as chairman of his cable TV network, Revolt TV. Real estate in 1998, he paid $2.45 million for a home in East Hampton. Mm-hmm. This is where he held his famous white party for many years. I didn't know they called it a white party. At times, he rented his home out for as much as $200,000 per month. He sold his property in 2020 for $4.7 million. Wow, that's cool. Just imagine you have property that you can rent out for $200,000 a month. Wow. So that's like putting it on Airbnb, or just if you want to rent it to some friends, some other wealthy friends, you know, say, hey, wow, that's something else. Let's see. Yeah, says at times he rented his home out for as much as 20,000. But that's a good strategy because you can take that money, put some money to the side for your savings, and just build your empire, build your network. I have 3 or 4 houses, and I'm renting them out 200,000 a month. And then that's just racking up my adding up on my net worth. Strongly building my empire up. It says he sold his property in 2020 for $4.7 million. In 2003, he paid $3.82 million for a 3-bedroom New York City apartment. $3.82 million for a 3-bedroom New York apartment. Wow. I'm thinking like over here we wouldn't have to pay no for the no, over here you would have to pay for a 3-bedroom. I mean, what kind of 3-bedroom is that? It says apartment. I mean, in other words, okay, he purchased it. I didn't know you could purchase an apartment. I thought the most apartments. I figured you just buy a house, and you can buy an apartment. Well, I mean, unless it's what you call them, a condo. I mean, I know you can purchase a condominium, and some of those are made like apartments. But why I purchase an apartment? I mean, me, I would say, hey, I would just buy a house for that much money. Well, it says in 2003, he paid $3.82 million for a 3-bedroom New York City apartment. I guess it's some places the living is high. He sold the property in 2017 for $5.7 million. I guess it was just like a house purchase, maybe. I don't know. But I didn't know you could, purchase an apartment. I thought an apartment would just be rented. In 2004, he paid $4 million for a 3.5-acre estate in Alpine, New Jersey. He also listed this home in 2007 for $9 million, but did not get any takers. He finally offloaded this property in 2016 for $5.5 million. So in other words, he built his empire. He built his empire from real estate, his houses that he purchased and then sold, his music business. What else said he had? Music business and other businesses. His vodka company, Ciroc, and his different businesses. So business is where it is at, most definitely. If you can run a successful business, build a strong brand, a brand that customers trust, a memorable brand, maintain a competitive advantage, you know where your target market is, and and you just keep on growing your business. In October 2003, Diddy paid $2.6 million for a mansion on the outskirts of Atlanta, Georgia. This home largely sat vacant during his ownership. He sold it in 2007 for $1.3 million. In 2009, Diddy paid $5.25 million for a home for Kim Porter. He paid $5.25 million for a home for Kim Porter, with whom he had several children. He sold the Toluca Lake home in 2022 for $6.5 million. So he sold a lot of homes. He had a lot of homes he sold, so that can increase your net worth as well. He has a $14.5 million mortgage on the 9-bedroom waterfront mansion. In 2003, he bought Tommy Mottola's mansion on Star Island in Miami. He has a $14.5 million mortgage on the 9-bedroom waterfront mansion. a $14.5 million mortgage on a 9-bedroom. Just imagine, 9 bedrooms. In August 2021, he paid $35 million for the property next door. Wow. So it seems like he had a good 10 houses. The sellers in this case were Gloria and Emilio Estefan. Also, Gloria Estefan. Yeah, I remember her, the singer. And this home sits on 1.3 acres of land and has 240 feet of water frontage. Here's a mansion he bought in 2021. So they're showing some pictures. So I think that's it. We're showing the houses. And it's showing his Ciroc. His Ciroc vodka line. Pictures of that, and they're showing the pictures of the mansions. And then it says, Diddy donated $1 million to Howard University. All net worths are calculated using data drawn from public sources. Right, okay, so I don't have to read all that, but yeah, that's it. That's the end of that article. But so yeah, so there you have it, So I just wanted to take a look at the what you call the I wanted to take a look at the I want to take a look at his his empire. I wanted to take a look at his empire, how he built his empire, how he built his wealth. But that's cool because if I count all down the different houses, so he's purchased a lot of homes, sold a lot of homes, also purchased a home for Kim Porter, and purchased a home for her. All the homes he purchased and sold those houses, and I think they said one home he rented out for $200,000 a month. And also he purchased some apartment, I think it was in New York City. Because they say the living is high in New York. Purchased a home in New York, apartment in New York City. But P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, an American rapper, singer, record producer. But I want to end this video, so it's almost 2 hours, but just wanted to get into that. So, like I said, we'll have to see how things turn out, after, let me go back, hold up. So, I'm typing in wrong. So definitely, we have to see, once everything is finalized, then we'll, see how things turn out. See what his plea would. First of all, what will he plead guilty or not guilty at the arraignment? So, what will his plea be? So it says in the initial arrest process, it says this will usually involve the person being So in other words, he was probably handcuffed. So this is the initial arrest process. Handcuff the person before being transported to the nearest police station. So in other words, once you're arrested, it's good not to say anything, don't say nothing. Invoke your Fifth Amendment rights. I have a right to remain silent. Remain silent. It says, then you're arrested, you'll be handcuffed and then taken to the nearest police station. Law enforcement will begin booking and processing the person. The person's fingerprints and photographs will be taken, and identifying information will be recorded. Process of the arrest. The arrest process normally follows a typical straightforward procedure. A warrant is necessary to make an arrest, but there are instances where a law enforcement officer is able to make an arrest without one. So, where I'll stop at. Um, okay, if you're looking for any information, you know who to call. Initial arrest process. So, a law enforcement officer will most likely tell someone verbally that he or she is under arrest. So when they verbally tell you, hey, you're under arrest, this will usually involve the person being handcuffed before being transported to the nearest police station. At the police station, law enforcement will begin booking and processing the person. The person's fingerprints and photographs will be taken, and identifying information will be recorded. So Sean Puppy Combs and him and anybody else that had been arrested, that had been arrested. In other words, the officer will tell you, hey, you under arrest, put you in handcuffs, and then take you to the nearest police station where you will be fingerprinted and photographed, and and identifying information will be recorded. Identifying information will be recorded. After the arrest, law enforcement may read the person his or her Miranda rights. If law enforcement intends to question the person, right? So they only read you your Miranda rights if they intend to ask you some questions. So if you say they're gonna tell you, because I watch a lot of cops too, a lot of cop shows, and also I do a lot of research when it comes to law terms, and law information. So I learned about Miranda too, Ernesto Miranda. So that's how they came up with the name. It was a gentleman. He was arrested. I think it was 1960, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been 60 or 63, something like that. But he was arrested, and they didn't read him his Miranda rights. His name was Ernesto Miranda, and they didn't read him his rights. So that's where the name came from, Maresta or Orlando Maresta. So it says after the arrest, law enforcement may read the person his or her Miranda rights if law enforcement intends to question the person. Miranda rights include the right to remain silent, the right to speak with an attorney before answering a police officer's question, the right to have an attorney present during questioning, and the right to stop answering questions at any time. So there's just some, I'm not going to read all this. It's just so much stuff that you can learn about when it comes to the law. They have a warrantless arrest that you can be arrested. They don't even need a warrant. And then I learned about also the no-knock warrant, uh, Miranda rights. See, an individual's Miranda rights include the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. Police are only required to read an individual their Miranda rights when they are in custody and being interrogated by the police. So they only are required to read you your Miranda rights if you're going to be questioned and if you are in their custody. Yes, and Miranda rights, it says they are only required to read an individual their Miranda rights when they are in custody and being interrogated by police. For example, if an individual is arrested for a crime, placed in a patrol car, and taken to jail without questioning from the police do not have to read out. They do not have to read out the Miranda rights. Yes, in other words, if they arrest you and you're sitting in the car, police car, they're taking you down, and they're not going to question you. And they don't have to read you your rights. But right, you don't want it. you don't want to have, it's good, it's best to keep quiet anyway, because anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, you know. So just wait for your attorney, don't speak about anything, exercise your Fifth Amendment rights, you know. I don't want to say anything for fear of self-incrimination. That's the Fifth Amendment. So it's good to learn I need to read more too, and refresh my memory too on all the amendments. The First Amendment, freedom of speech and religion, freedom of the press. And then we have the Second Amendment, right to bear arms. And then you get into, I need to read more on, go back and refresh my memory on all the amendments. I think it's 26 amendments, 26, 27. But it's good to refresh our memory on those amendments. That's very important. So I think I'm in this video now, but I just got all up into a whole lot of other stuff. But go ahead and learn. I mean, because when I talk about business and I talk about the legal side, when you're talking about somebody getting arrested, then you talk about an arraignment, you talk about, first of all, you talk about an indictment, and an indictment goes to the grand jury if they have enough evidence. Prosecution, they have the evidence, they feel that they have enough evidence and they want to get an indictment, and so it goes to the grand jury. But it's like to just refresh our memory on, we're not lawyers, but it's good to know. It's good to know the basics, So ignorance of the law is inexcusable. So, so I need to do more research as well. So I know when I was at Australia University, I did take a business law course, and I think I got a B in that class. I did pretty good. My teacher said, sure, you ought to consider going to law school, because I did a good job in my business course. So that's why I'm always doing research on all kinds of stuff. I mean, business, I had several business courses that I took. Business administration was my major. I took business ethics, I took organizational business, I took so many classes at Australia University. I think I took, was it constitutional law? I think I only took two law classes down there. I know it was business law, constitutional law. And I took accounting courses, the basics in accounting. I took managerial accounting. So, but so I think I'm going to end this video, and just want to say thanks for joining me. Glad to see you. Glad you could be here. And so I just, wish the best for Sean Diddy Combs, and hope everything turned out okay for him, because in my videos on my channel, I don't like to be on, I'm not here to bash nobody or give nobody advice. I only sometimes speak on what's in the news and then just give my little commentary, so I'm not here on my channel. I don't know about nobody else's channel, but on my channel, I'm not here to bash nobody, because I'm like, who am I to tell you what to do? Who am I to give my opinion? Who am I to you? Who am I to give my opinion, to you? I mean, let somebody ask me for my opinion, then hey, I'll give you my opinion. I'll tell you what I think about things, or what I feel about a certain issue or a certain topic. Other than that, and the thing is, when it comes to life, you don't control what nobody else does, but you only control what you can do yourself. In other words, you can't make nobody do what you want them to do. So, that's how they go. That's how it is in the world, You can give your opinion, you can give your input, but, people are going to do what they want to do, so you can't. That's just like, even if you're in a marriage, or you in a marriage, or even if you're in a relationship, and you dealing with somebody, you married to somebody, or you just in a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, you still don't have no control of how they may want to do things, or what they want to do about this situation, this problem, and they are going to do what they want to do. So we don't have no control of. We don't have no control of the way of what another person thinks about a situation. or what they're going to do about this problem. We don't have no control. It's it's kind of sad to look at it that way, but it's the truth. You could be married to somebody for 20, 30, 40 years, but you don't have no control. They can jump out on you. They can jump out on you and go down there and file for divorce. You have no control over that. That's the type of situations I'm talking about. Or you could be in a relationship with somebody and just boyfriend girlfriend type situation, or just dating, and then they can just jump out the blue and just change over on you and start doing things differently. You're like, what? You know, but that's how it is. You can't never. So the only thing is best to just worry about what you are going to do. So me, I just worry about what I'm gonna do, what decisions I want to make for myself, because I can't control nobody else's mind. I can't control nobody else's decisions, and they can't control mine. But the thing is, it's about respect. That's true. Say, hey, well, although I can't control your feelings and your decisions, or decisions that you make, although I can't control that because I know we are two different people, I would never be able to control that. You know, So you made a certain decision about this situation that happened, or you made a decision, you made a decision, or you made a choice, or you felt this way about this or that, or blah blah blah. That's the way you felt about that. But I don't feel that way. We're in a relationship. I don't feel that way about that. That's how you felt about that. You did that to me, and I can't control. I can't control your decisions. I can't control the way you handled that situation. But it comes down to respect, So we're in a relationship. We're married. We're in a relationship. You did this. You made this type of decision. You went and did that behind my back. You didn't show me no respect. You didn't show me no common courtesy. Even though I can't control your mind, I can't control the way you feel about things. I can't control. I can't control your step, your next step in that process, or I mean, that's how it is. It's just because you could be in a relationship for 20, 30, 40 years, and then somebody can just say, hey, just jump up and just say, just walk away from it all. Like my son said, it's a friend of his was in a relationship for about 3 years, and he said that the lady just walked away. No explanation, even though that is that person's choice. They don't have to give you no explanation. No, they don't owe you no explanation. But then you think about common courtesy of respect. You at least could have had respect enough for me, because I thought that we were getting to know one another. I thought we were in a relationship, or we might not have been married, but we were in some type of I guess I would say some type of relationship. You were in some type of relationship. You might not have been married. You might not have been saying, you might not have said, oh, yeah, we boyfriend, we girlfriend, we got married. No, but you texting back and forth, and, you sharing love messages and talking, about this and about that, and that still was a relationship. In my opinion, that's a relationship. Then I might not be able to. What I'm saying is, I might not have been able to control how you just walked away from it all. Your decision to walk away from it all. I might not have been able to control that, but at least you could have had enough respect for me to let me know why you felt that way, or why you decided to blah blah blah. Because if we've been talking for a while and we've been getting to know one another, and then all of a sudden you want to walk away from it all. So that lets me know, it lets me say that. Well, that lets me know that you didn't have no kind of respect for me. You didn't show no respect. So when it comes to that, sometimes then you got to think about, when it comes to that, you didn't show me no respect. You walked away from it all. You didn't give me no explanation. Well, I couldn't control the way you handle things, because, like I said, whether you married or just dating, you still don't have no control of decisions that other person may make. that's the way it is. Because people think, oh yeah, I'm married, and those are, oh, I'm married, or we boyfriend and girlfriend. That still don't make no difference. You could be married, you can be dating, or you can say that's my boyfriend, that's my girlfriend. Like I say, that's my husband. But the decisions that your partner makes, is the decisions that they make. A lot of times you would think out of respect that they would tell you about, the decisions that they were going to make and why they made those particular decisions or choices. But that's how it goes. So now that's why a lot of people, I mean, some people are saying, I don't even want to be in a relationship. I don't want to get married. So that is, people just, nowadays, you just look around, people just walking away. They don't care if they hurt your feelings. They don't care. They just want what they want. And they feel I don't have to owe this person no explanation. So some people, so that's why we just have to watch ourselves and don't open up our hearts to everybody that we run across, you know. So sometimes it's just, you just want to be by yourself, to yourself. Learn more about yourself and just, because it's a risk to open your heart up to. You might see somebody that you like, and you might say, "Oh, I like that person," or I kind of I feel a physical attraction for this person, blah blah blah. But sometimes it's just good to just say, "Hey, I've been through so much. I've been through a lot, and I am not going to bait myself. Sometimes we bait ourselves. I'm not gonna bait myself into no type of relationship, no type of situation. I'm not gonna bait myself, because you bait yourself when you say, "Oh yeah, well, they got a nice ride, they got a nice job, well, they keep themselves neat, they looking good from head to toe, and they seem like they have everything on point. But the thing is, just looks can be deceiving sometimes. Sometimes looks can be deceiving, and you can look at a person and say, "Well, they look like they got it going on," but you don't know how you're going to be treated. You don't know how they treated their last girlfriend or their last wife. Just don't know. So, like Steve Harvey said, he said, uh, we have to stop worrying about what a person looks like. Well, and start worrying about what they look like, and what type of job they have, what type of car they drive. So in other words, those physical characteristics. Then worry about how they're going to treat you. That's most important. So we have to take time to get to know a person and see what type of person they are, because sometimes you can meet a person and their values and their standards and their morals and their ethics can be very low, but you won't know that. We don't know that, myself as well. I definitely have to take the time to, in other words, if I was in the dating world, I would, that would be something I have to think about, because, you can't give advice if you don't take advice yourself. So, yeah. So, yeah, you have to get to know a person. Sometimes we look at the physical on the outside, or sometimes people verbiage can give off that they're a nice person. They say certain words. They say what they want you to hear. They'll say what they want you to hear, but then you really don't even know them. Sometimes you have to get to know them a little better. You know, yeah. Sometimes you have to get to know them a little better, because, like Steve Harvey said, start worrying about what they look like, the job. I mean, that's good to look at too, but what they look like, what type of job they have. We have to look more. We have to look more at. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, not just ladies, but we have to look at the moral character, the ethic, their ethics, their morals, their standards. What type of standards do they live up to? What type of value system do they have? Some people, uh, their value system is very low. And it's, say for instance, you get into a relationship with somebody and you jumped into it so fast, and you wanted the title of boyfriend or girlfriend real quick, but you didn't take the time to get to know that person. And some people's value systems are low, and they may do some things that you don't like, and sometimes those things start coming out when you get into the relationship. Sometimes things start coming out. Well, I didn't like the way that person did this, or they did this, and they did that, and I don't like that. My ethics, my morals, my ethics, my my value system, and your standards are too low for me. But sometimes that's why it's good to get a chance to know a person a little better, because things come out later on down the line. And then, like I said, things come out that you might not want to deal with. That's why a lot of people are walking away from these divorces, because sometimes if you met somebody and then you've been married for 10 years, 9 times out of 10 changes are going to come about on both sides. So when I met that person, they used to do this, but now 5 years later, they don't do that no more. They doing something totally different. So, but I mean, I don't know, it's hard. It's just hard to, it's just kind of hard to, I mean, people change. We all change. So just imagine you married to somebody, you just married that person, and then it's 40 years later, you've been with them 40 years. I mean, just imagine that all the changes that both partners or parties or whatever are going through. Just imagine the changes over 40 years. You've been married for 40 years. I mean, it's just a lot of changes. You have to say to yourself, am I willing to deal with these changes? Some people are not. Some people are not. Some people are not willing to deal with those changes because if the changes are too drastic, then they be like, "Oh no, I can't deal with this." Some people, and nowadays, as we just said, divorce is on the rise. You're looking, yeah, it is, and divorce is on the rise, and you're looking around, you say, people are just walking away from these divorces, these marriages, and it is, but I mean, to each his own. So you just have to examine your relationship and do what's best for you. Do what's best for you in your relationship. But sometimes walking away from it all can cost you a lot. Sometimes walking away from it all can cost you a lot. And they say that when you're dealing with divorce, if you sign a prenup, like I said, there's just so many different things you can get into when it comes to the field of law. You got family law, you got you got what's that? Family law, you got tort law, you got civil law, criminal law, um, real estate law, and there's so many different areas of law. I'm saying it's just so much that you can learn. Look at all that. If I did information on or put a little bit of information on my channel from different areas of law, there's a lot of content. So that's what I should be doing. And so many different areas of law. So like I said, let me see, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. But I'm saying, you walk away, and people walking away from it all. And I was talking about the child support. I was about to talk about that. In other words, if you sign a prenup, he said the prenup does not cover child support. So you sign a prenup, but child support is going to be handled separately. So when you think you sign a prenup, you're thinking that and then you're getting off, but no, they're saying that, when it comes to signing a prenup is good, but now they're talking about you need a postnup. A postnup is good and a prenup, or either one, But I have to read more up into that. But they were talking about the postnup as well. But then if you sign a prenup, that doesn't have anything to do with child support. And then the thing is with child support, is you make more money whichever party pays the child support, which party, if they paying child support and they start to make more money, then the other party can then go back in the court and try to ask for more money because they say this person is making more money now. I want more money and my child support payments. So I mean, it's just so much, and I think that comes under family law. I mean, that would be good. Maybe I'll go and read in my, maybe I'll go and do some more research and, do some videos on family law and some other different areas when it comes to law. But I think I want to go take me some law classes. I was trying to get into one of these law schools. And I'm trying to see because I did put in a few applications, so I'm still in the process of putting some applications in. But it's just so many. My cousin, he's a criminal law attorney, so he's been practicing law for I don't know, gotta be over 20 years. Yeah, so he's a partner in a law firm. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna end this video now because look, I'm at 2 hours and 15 minutes. But thanks for joining me. Glad to see you. Glad you could be here. And yeah, so I'll see you all hopefully on my next video. So I'll be getting into some more law videos, some more law videos giving out information, giving out information. Like I say, there's so many different areas when it comes to law. I mean, it's so many different areas of law. Matter of fact, let me see before I go. Let me see, just to be. Let me see. How many areas of law is there? How many areas of law are there? So they say 21 fields of law explained. I think it's more than that though. Types of law. A law degree can offer you any number of incredible professional opportunities. We have animal law and morality law. Animal law is the field of law that has non-human animals as a subject. And morality law, it's the field of law that governs legal matters that take place in any navigable body of water. So admiralty law, admiralty law. So in other words, it deals with the body of water. We have bankruptcy law, legal proceedings that involve a person or business that's unable to repay outstanding debt. There's banking and finance law, civil rights law, constitutional law, corporate law, criminal law. We also have education law, entertainment law, employment law, environmental and natural resources law. So many different areas, That's why, like I said, getting content for within all these areas of law would be a lot of content for my channel. It also would be a good learning. It would be a good learning experience. Family law, health law, immigration law. So immigration law would be good right about now because Trump is trying to close the northern border and the southern border so we can keep those illegal immigrants out. So the immigration law would be good. I'm going to do some research on immigration law. It's the field that, at least in the United States, contends with legal issues facing immigrants who come to the country for short-term or long-term stays. Working in immigration law means your primary objective will be to serve immigrant clients at all points of their naturalization process. That would be a good field to study. You have international law, intellectual property law. You want to protect your intellectual property. That's the field that encompasses the protection of creation works and symbols uniquely developed by individual persons or groups. So just in other words, you uniquely develop symbols uniquely developed by individual persons or groups of people. Like a trademark. You want to protect your business name, your business products and services, your intellectual property. Working in intellectual property law means your primary objective will align within a particular domain of practice, such as patent law or copyright law, to ensure your clients maintain their ownership over their creations. Yeah, you get you have an invention, you want to get a patent for that invention, and some businesses need, 9 times out of 10, they will have they definitely will have a trademark and maybe a copyright too. Some businesses may have patents. They have inventions where they can get a patent. You have military law, personal injury law. Right, personal injury law that can come under, in other words, your auto insurance policy. So I know on my auto insurance policy, I do have the was it PIP, personal injury protection. And you can learn more under the personal injury law, real estate law, tax law. Look, all these areas of law. I mean, so many different areas of law. Oh man, it's just so much information when it comes to the field of law. I just get so excited about the field of law, my intellectual property, and international law, immigration law, health law. Wow, family law. But let me close this video. It's going on 3 hours. I'm still talking. Let me get in here. It's time for me to cook. It's time for me to cook some food now. It's lunchtime over here. It's 12:39. But I was just want to say thanks for being here. Glad to see you. So best wishes to Sean Diddy Combs. So just wish the best. So African American gentleman, and then like I said on my channel, I don't want to come on my channel and bash anyone. So you'll see no bashing over here. No bashing on Shirley TV. Shirley TV, Shirley Television, Shirley Productions, it's the Shirley Network. So I won't bash nobody. I'll just, if anything you see me, you may see me giving the news from time to time. You may see me presenting some movies, some TV shows. Like I did present a show called Girlfriends, Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So I like to show little shows, movies and stuff. But sometimes I might creep in and do some news videos. You might see me step in front of the camera sometimes, but So recently we did go to Virginia Beach and we had a good time. So I had the family showing the beach and all that. But I want to do some more blogging on my channel, maybe some interviews if I can run across some people that let me interview them. I can run across some people that let me interview them. I'm trying to get my friend from Nigeria, but I can't get him to sit still. So, but my neighbors, they said, they don't want to be, they don't like YouTube, they don't like TikTok. I tell them I'll be doing some TikTok videos. They just saying, wow, they act like it's so out of the ordinary. Oh, you do TikTok? I said, yeah, I do it. Yeah, I mean, you got to do something to keep yourself busy, to keep your mental state intact. I like my TikTok videos. I grab a good song, so use the songs that's already on TikTok, because other songs they won't let you use because copyright issues, So they, I use the songs that's already on there, but there's people already using certain songs. They already made their videos, so you can just click the button and say use the sound, and you can use the sound and do your video. But it keeps your mental health intact. It keeps you busy. It satisfies me. I love it. I like to pick a good song, hit that use the sound, and just do my video. Sometimes I do duets. Click the duet button, and then the song is already there. And just do your little whatever you're gonna do, talk, or well, you can't talk if you do a duet. You have to go by what the other person says. Whatever the other video is about, you'll be doing the same thing. But so duets, you won't get to talk or nothing like that. But they may have the song already picked or whatever words they're gonna talk about, whatever they're saying. But I mean, it's good. It's good to try. I mean, TikTok, Instagram. I don't be on Instagram that much, but I do be on TikTok every now and then. So I do have a following over there on TikTok. But I go over there, I do my little song. I mean, it helps my mental health. I like it. I like to pick a good song and just, sometimes music just soothes music soothes the soul. So I love a good song, you know. And then you can also go live on Instagram. You can go live on TikTok, and you know. So I mean, just enjoy yourself. Only thing I can say, enjoy yourself, enjoy life, do the things you want to do. And you know, so let me get off here because I want to go fix some lunch, and then I want to do some research, or I might do some research on one of these different law categories. You know, probably criminal law or corporate law, and then we also have tort law, constitutional law, immigration law, entertainment law. So entertainment law is very important. Entertainment law is very important. But I'm gonna close out right now. So glad to see you all. I don't see you, but glad. Hopefully you can, you know, listen to the replays of the video, and I'll see you next time on Shirley TV. What? Shirley TV. So come back again, and I'll see you next time. So you all have a blessed. What's today? Tuesday. So yeah, so you all have a blessed Tuesday, September 17th. So it'll be Thanksgiving in a minute. Oh, no, first is Halloween. Halloween, October, then Thanksgiving, November, and Christmas is December. So I want to say bye for now. You all have a blessed Tuesday. You all have a blessed Tuesday, and I hope to see you on the next video. So, all right, have a good one. Bye now from Shirley TV. Shirley TV. Have a good one.